Well, hi there. Hi everyone. Um oh, I woke hello, yes, I've woken my cat up as soon as I start talking. He was so well behaved right up until now. how are we all doing today? Thank you so much for welcoming me, for congratulating me. This is terrifying. Just like so we're 100% clear, this is terrifying. I was so nervous last night. Oh dear. Yes. Yes. Oh, hello, sir. He is pacing on the desk. Hello, Rev. All right. But don't you dare walk on the keyboard right now, sir. I will lock you out of this room if you cause too many problems, but I want you to be able to be involved, okay? The people love you. Okay. Hi, hello, I am real. Oh, my son. He's like right up against the microphone. Sir, can you get off the desk? Thank you. Yeah, you can hang out in your shelf in the window. You love it there. Okay, well, not exactly how I plan to start things, but sure, that works. That works. Anyways, I was genuinely like so nervous about this last night that I couldn't sleep. It took ages for me to get to sleep. And then when I finally did, I slept through all of my alarms and was in bed until like 12:30 today. But we're here and we're doing it and we're gonna keep doing it. And you know, first stream doesn't have to be perfect. I'm just proud to be doing this, honestly, and I'm super happy to be here with you all. Today is going to be a fairly short stream. The plan is to run for about 2 hours. Oh yeah, second stream, that's going to be perfect. That's, you know, the Demon Souls stream, my first time using an Elgato. That will be perfect. But for today, what I'm hoping to do is do a little introduction of hello of what exactly this Twitch channel is going to be like, what I have planned going forward, what you can expect in future streams and that sort of thing. And then once we've done all of that, I'm going to kind of open things up to any questions that you might have, as well as any requests for like ASMR triggers you'd like to hear today. Listen. Okay, yes, first game stream is going to be a Souls stream because I love Souls games. I've okay, this is some Fae lore. My first FromSoft game was Bloodborne. And this was back when I was in high school. And I was awful at it. I was like genuinely so bad. And I died against Cleric Beast like 7 billion times. And it eventually ended up breaking down crying over the game. And so I spent like a year not touching it after that until eventually like a friend sat me down and we played it together. And I ended up I ended up beating it. Eventually, once I beat Cleric Beast for the first time, I became addicted to the high of beating a hard boss. And since then, I have played Bloodborne, I've played Dark Souls 3, I've played Elden Ring. I adore the Neo games. Those aren't FromSoft, but like they're really good. But I haven't played the older ones, really. And so I figure one of the first things I want to do when it comes to gaming on this channel is an entire marathon of every single Souls-like game that FromSoft has made. So we're going to do Demon's Souls, DS1, DS2, Bloodborne, DS3, Sekiro, and Elden Ring in order. And I think it's going to be really fun. I'm probably going to do other game stuff interspersed. But you know what? This is a great opportunity to talk about generally how things are going to go. Every Friday, no matter what, every Friday is going to be an ASMR stream. And on those days, because normally, the way I pick the audios that I'm going to do is I will have the patrons vote on what they would like me to make. Thank you so much for being here. But normally the patrons would vote to decide what it is we're going to be doing. But for the Friday streams, the plan is going to be that I take suggestions directly from chat, and we make decisions kind of based off of that. So this is an opportunity for people who are not interested in going onto the Patreon to make very direct requests and get ASMR that really appeals to them done live, so I can get feedback from all of you. And it should be really fun. I'm still nervous. I'm still terrified, to be honest. Even talking to you right now, I'm really horrified that I'm gonna like embarrass myself somehow, but I'm also really excited, and oh, thank you. I've always trained so hard, bestie. And I think that'll be a really fun thing to do. So that's gonna be every Friday. And then the other streams, just because I still want to keep up with my normal release schedule on YouTube, I'm planning on streaming 1 or 2 more times every week. So it's going to be 2 to 3 streams a week in total. And other than that Friday stream, it's going to be gaming stuff. So currently the big thing we have planned is Demon's Souls this Wednesday. But I'm gonna be honest, y'all, I've been kinda eyeing up Resident Evil 9. So I'm terrible with horror. I'm so bad with horror. I don't know why I like horror, but I'm really, really bad with it. So if that's a thing you want to see, then I might have to give that a go at some point. But oh, thank you, Fira. Hi. Fira's a very good friend of mine. You should totally give her a follow, just saying. Fira's amazing. Fira's amazing. How do I shout someone out in chat? I don't know nothing. I don't know nothing. I should have looked this up. Also follow Lilac Lorenza, because she's amazing too. Thank you. maybe I'll do collabs with some folks at some point. Yeah, you should be followed. You're amazing. You're talented. um, but I have a couple friends that I think I would be down to reach out with and collab with. Fira and Lilac in chat, two among those that I would be very happy to work with if if they would be interested. um, I should set something up like that. Sir, I'm gonna keep talking. Okay, yeah, he's out of here. The cat is out of here. He's sick of me being noisy. He was trying to take a nice nap in the window and I keep talking. Unbelievable. Unforgivable of me. But yeah, that's the general plan going forwards. I'm gonna post schedules in a couple places. Obviously, if you follow my Tumblr, that's a very easy place to look. If you follow the main Flawless Fae YouTube channel, that's another good place to look. And then I also have the new Flawless Fae Gaming YouTube channel, which is currently empty, but in the future I'm going to start posting schedules there, and vods from this channel on Twitch will be posted there, with the exception of the ASMR vods, which will be posted on the main channel. As much as like streaming is going to be kind of a game focused thing. Hi, I'm closer now. The fact is I sort of want, oh, get my damn wings out of the chat. No, I'm just gonna block you. I'm gonna block you all. No. But I want to keep the main channel on YouTube very, very ASMR focused, because, oh my goodness, my throat. I'm gonna drink some water right now. Much better. But I want to keep the don't bite me. I want to keep the main channel as like ASMR focused as possible. I want to make sure that no, don't bite me. You're not allowed to bite me. That's very rude. Because I don't want the people who, first followed and subscribed for the ASMR stuff to be overshadowed, or to feel like they're losing what they had before, because ASMR is fun and it's important to me, and it's it's the reason most of y'all are here. So yeah, that's about it as far as the plan for streaming is concerned. Make sure you follow the Flawless Fae Games channel if you want to catch some of those VODs. I will go ahead and just do a little bit of this. I said I'll do a little bit of this. Here we go. That's a link to the upcoming VODs channel. So if you want to pay a visit. With all of that out of the way, does anyone have anything they'd like to ask me, or do we want to just play around with some fun ASMR triggers? This is a great opportunity for me to kind of test things out, because live ASMR can go wrong in so many ways, so easily. And so I kind of want to try a couple of my normal, like, favorite ASMR triggers so that we can get a sense for how they're going to work with my current live setup. Isn't this model so expressive, by the way? I love the ears. The ears make me happy. Nail tapping? Well, I'm very sorry to say I have very short nails. I have been thinking about getting acrylics for a bit, but I worked in food service for a while, so I got into the habit of keeping them short. I can go ahead and very gently tap the mic like this, though. The first proper ASMR stream, we're going to be doing some proper roleplay stuff. Because I think ASMR is the most fun when you're telling a story. Yeah, it's I like having fun nails, I really do. But back when I worked food service, it was like a sanitary thing to keep them short and unpainted. I think it might be a sign. And I'll be honest, I just like getting a hand massage. Like, if I go to get a manicure, there's this one place that does like really good hand massages for you as part of the whole process. And it's heavenly, to be frank. It's so good. You can massage anything, boss. You can massage anything. It was actually my first time going out to get my nails done professionally, getting a proper manicure, was with my current partner, and it was part of a date. But the issue is, right, I'd only set aside the cash for like a very basic, like, shellac whatever, and they had set aside the cash for acrylics. And so we get there and it's a date. We're on a date together to get our nails done, but then because we had slightly different things being done to our nails, we ended up on completely opposite sides of the nail salon the whole time. So not much of a date, was it? Oh, it's okay. It's okay. We had a lovely time on the way there and on the way back. So, you know, lesson learned. If we're going to get our nails done as part of a date, then make sure you're getting the same thing done. The great divide. It is homophobic. It's homophobic and it's transphobic. I have a thing where, and I don't know if anyone else does this, but anytime something like moderately inconveniences me, I call it transphobic. It's like, oh, I stubbed my toe. It's the homophobia. Oh no. Oh geez, the post office closed earlier than I anticipated, and so I didn't get to send the letter I was planning on or whatever. That's transphobia. They're just transphobic there, what can I say? No, not the cold food. You deserve better than that. Keyboard typing. You know what? I think I could do some typing. Now, I have two options. The first is I have this little. This is actually a fighting game gamepad thing. And I've historically used this for typing sounds. And it's a very good sound. But there is an alternative, and I think it'd be really awkward because I've never done this before with it. Oh, I have smacked the microphone. I apologize. See, in order to do this streaming thing, right, I got myself a new computer. It's something that, because I wanted to be able to deliver the highest quality I could. And so I got myself a new PC. And it was really awkward. I was shopping and I was sticking my ear next to various computers that were on display to see which ones ran the quietest. And I got this new one, and it's really nice, and I like it a lot. But it came with a new keyboard and mouse, and this new keyboard is so clackety. And it's like, I had a really nice keyboard already that I was planning on using, but then I got this one, and it's, oh my god. Oh my, are you hearing this? And do you know the best part? Actually, is that I am currently typing in chat. As I am doing this, I'm typing nonsense into chat. There we go, there's your ASMR transcript. It's true. It's true. And so this keyboard is definitely a little bit awkward to type with and maneuver around the microphone, but it makes some good sounds. The sound I make when I walk on non-carpeted floor with my spider legs, actually. It's very specific, but very true. Do you wanna know some advice that I have for? You like the gamepad more? Okay, we can switch between them both. We don't have to stick to one. One thing that I have found recording ASMR is there are times when you sort of start running out of ideas. And this is maybe also in part because of my upload schedule. You know, releasing I would love to hear your silliest ASMR trigger. But releasing an audio every like 3 days. Duck. Interesting. I might steal that. But what happens when I start running out of ideas is I go to a big department store. Okay? And you know, say what you want about department stores. Because there's definitely some stuff that is not to like about them on the whole. But the fact is, if you go to a department store, you can go to, say, the tools section or hardware section. You can go to the toys. You can go to arts and crafts. And you can go to the clearance section. And so what I do when I start struggling for ideas is I will set aside like a budget. And I will go to a big old store and I will wander around and I will find the things that make the best sounds for ASMR. And I always feel kind of awkward doing it because I'm like, you know, I'm walking up to like a rubber toy ball or whatever, and I'm like tapping against it or wiggling it in my hand. Or, you know, I'm going to the hardware section and I'm picking up a screwdriver and I'm just fiddling with the screwdriver to see what sounds it makes. But it's a very useful thing. Hello, I'm glad you like the model. Thrift stores, also amazing. There's just not one close by to me. But the useful thing. Automod did not like the word fondling. Good to know. It's a perfectly innocent context, Automod, I assure you. I assure you, we're talking about department store merch. We're talking about fidgeting with things. Yeah, you never know. Someone might just be trying out some ASMR triggers. You never know. You never know, boss. That's actually I have a little screwdriver. I have a fun little screwdriver that I got on my most recent trip when I was looking for inspiration that I now really enjoy using for mechanical ASMR. And honestly, my friends, it's a really fun thing to try and figure out novel uses for various objects to create ASMR. And that's sort of an advantage I have as someone who does not use a camera for my ASMR, because if I was using a camera, if the listener could actually see some of the things that I'm doing, I imagine it would probably take them out of it a little bit. But because you can't necessarily see exactly what I'm doing, I can make a sound and then tell you what it is. And so alongside this screwdriver, one of the things that I do in my ASMR vids when it comes to mechanical ASMR, right? When I do mechanical ASMR, one of the most frequent things I use is actually... Oh, well, it was very nice to have you. We're probably going to be streaming for about another hour and a half. It was very nice to have you here. I'm probably going to do longer streams in the future, but for this intro stream, I wanted to keep things short and just, take the time to get used to it and to familiarize myself with kind of what this is going to be like going forward. But one of the things that I do for mechanical ASMR is I have this... Well, for gaming streams, I'm probably going to do like 2 hours, take a little break, and then do another 2 hours, that sort of thing. ASMR streams probably will be on the shorter end though, just because it's very hard to keep this up for a very long time. But I have this camera tripod, right? And this was from back in the time when I used to do a very specific kind of work that I can't necessarily feel fully comfortable or confident talking about in detail on this platform. It was video, pictures, that sort of thing. and I did it mostly out of necessity. I had recently lost my home and my job in like the same month. And things were pretty scary at the time. And it was also around this time that I started doing ASMR, actually. I did both of them at the same time because the thought process at the time was that I was scared and insecure and feeling unstable. And I wanted to have an income source that wasn't dependent on having a stable address. And so I started doing that sort of work. And I also started this channel, the YouTube channel. And it wasn't just because of money that I started doing this, to be clear. It was because, I mean, I always wanted to be a YouTuber. And I realized that listening to ASMR got me through some hard times in my life. And so I wanted to share that with other people. But long story short, as part of the other work, I got myself a camera tripod. And this thing, there are so many bits you can screw and adjust and make go clacky. And so it has become, haha, you're very funny. No, trust me, the same thought crossed my mind after I said it. But there are so many little bits to this thing that have gone into a huge portion of my mechanical ASMR since then. Currently, I no longer do that kind of work. It didn't really pan out as well as I'd hoped. I wasn't able to build the kind of audience that I necessarily would have liked at the time, and I also just couldn't sustain that and this and the day job that I eventually got all at once. But I'll be honest, there were parts of it that I did really enjoy, so there's a part of me that misses doing it. I mean, the fact is, that kind of work, it's something that it sucks to have to do. But I don't think the work itself is necessarily a bad thing, or something to be shunned or shamed or refused. And it's very possible to enjoy that work. I have very good friends who have done and continue to do that sort of work to this day, and who love the heck out of it, you know? And so I think it did suck for me in a lot of ways because I was doing it out of desperation and fear. But I don't know. There are ways it can be fun. And I mean, plenty of the folks on my Patreon are very aware of some of my feelings on the subject, because I do spicy stuff on the Patreon sometimes. And I do that purely for the love of the game. I make spicy audios purely for fun, because I enjoy it. I know, right? No, seriously though, like, there are so many things that one can be so passionate about and love doing, but when it's something that you have to do to survive, no matter what it is, it stops being fun. Chili cooking hand cam stream when I don't know if I'm gonna do. I could make curry, maybe. I like making curry. Oh no, that ruins the mic. Do you hear this tripod though? Like, I'm just extending the tripod and then bringing it back down. And it's good sounds. I'm straight up extending it. Extending it on a Monday. I have been thinking I kind of want to maybe upgrade the old mic sometime. Because I've been using this Blue Yeti for about a year-ish. And it's a good mic. It's a very good mic. It is a Blue Yeti, which is very solid, especially for kind of a newer streamer. But I've been sort of drooling over. Technically, I do have a throne, but that's from the other work days. And so most of the things that I'm requesting on that throne page are you know, outfits and other fun things. Maybe I will maybe I will update the throne page at some point in the near future. Maybe add a couple things. I've been thinking about getting those proper fluffy ear picks. Yeah, tape a mic to a mannequin and put the outfits on the mannequin. The outfits. Cause you know, definitely putting a super lacy bodysuit or whatever onto a mannequin that qualifies as ASMR, right? Yeah. Yeah. They're outfits that people were spending money to watch me do things with. Look, I need you to listen to me. I need you to listen to me. YouTube already, like, they're on my ass. I'm not gonna lie. For no reason. I don't need to give them a reason. Like, you know what? I want to try something. I'm gonna make sure that important information is not visible. Yeah. And then just give me 1 second, okay? Give me 1 second to do a thing. Okay? I want to capture a browser. Okay. No, that's not what I want. Gah. OBS is so fun. OBS jump scare. Okay. I guess I can do display capture. Sure. That's good enough. We're going layers deep. Don't panic. Stay calm. Stay calm. Hello. Hi everyone. We're going in. So I want you to look at this, okay? My latest audio. Dragon GF needs some scale care. Limited monetization. For why? Because scraping a dragon's scales, no. Visiting a strange inn. I guess I briefly mentioned alcohol, I guess. Girlfriend turned into a dragon? No, that's too spicy. You can't do that. ASMR roommate wants attention. Elf mage teleports into your room. I tried to appeal the elf mage one, I think. No. Examining a strange organism. Helping you with your magic homework. This one, fair. Making your D&D character. Y'all. Making your D&D character. What about that? Someone explain to me. And I try really hard to keep my audios clean, but YouTube apparently says I don't try enough. And it's definitely the automated reviews, and then I request them to double check it, and it almost certainly just gets sent for automated review again, and then gets shot down again. But like, with all of that in mind, as much as I think it would be funny to use some of the stuff from that other work for ASMR, I think YouTube would kill me on the spot if I did. I think they would strike me down for that. And I would rather that not happen, so unfortunately, I think we're gonna have to not do that. New Patreon tier. It's non-spicy, but YouTube would hate it. Yeah, that's about half of the audios. And it's part of it is just because ASMR in general is treated this way by YouTube. Part of it is because queer people are treated this way in general by YouTube. How big a part of my income is YouTube ads? Oh, you know what? You know what? A lot of people probably wouldn't talk about that, but I think people should talk about their wages, just in general. I think it's a good and healthy thing if people do that. I make about $600 a month from YouTube ads. Okay? That's about how much I make from ad revenue. The majority of my income is from Patreon. The YouTube ad revenue is about a fifth of the total income I make from this. But it's not nothing, you know. And so I would very much prefer to continue getting my ad revenue because, you know, apartments and student loans and insurance, because I have to pay for my own insurance, and all sorts of stuff. It all adds up. And if I was not making that ad revenue, I wouldn't be able to quit my job. Like, even with the Patreon, I would not have been able to quit my day job without the ad revenue. Oh yes, self-employment tax. I didn't mean to get all political on my first stream, but here we are. I'm gonna do a little something. I'm gonna put on some rubber gloves, and we're here for ASMR. This is an ASMR stream. Oh no, that's real. I'm very thankful to be in my current I'm very thankful to be in my current situation. You know, most expenses I split with my partner. And with that, I'm able to, of course, afford the life that I live right now with just YouTube. Which, as a disabled girly, is something that's very, very fortunate for me. I can't work full-time at my old day job. I was never able to. I could only ever manage part-time because my legs would give out if I tried. And so I'm very, very conscious of how lucky it is for me to be able to do this as my living. Make robotic legs. Honestly, all I probably need are some good braces for my knees and my hips and my ankles. Okay, maybe robotic legs. For those unaware, I have a condition known as Ehlers-Danlos. It is a connective tissue disorder, basically. What it means is that all of my ligaments and tendons are very loose. I inherited it from my father. It's a genetic condition. And the way that he described it, I think, makes the most sense to me. For most people, their connective tissues are like rubber bands. If they get stretched out, they snap back when they're no longer being stretched. Maybe they get a little bit looser, but they still generally snap back. For a person with Ehlers-Danlos, the connective tissues are more similar to taffy. They get stretched out. I'm using ASMR to demonstrate. They get stretched out, and then they stay stretched. And so what that means is that for someone with Ehlers-Danlos, there are so many other cascading health issues that can result from it, from like heart issues later in life. There can be issues with easy bruising and lack of wound closure and slow healing in general. But the most obvious and constantly present issue is that things dislocate very, 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 very easily. I can pop my shoulders out like nothing and pop them back in basically whenever I want. It hurts though, so I try not to do it. I've had kneecaps slip out of place. I did have, okay, you know what? Story time. Story time, my lovelies. I'm gonna do some silly whispers as I tell you a silly story, okay? So, I mentioned that I like manicures, right? I do those every now and then. I went with my partner to get some acrylics, okay? A while back. And then I went to get them taken off professionally because trying to take them off yourself is, you know, time consuming. But I'm sitting in this nail parlor and there's a lovely gentleman who is taking care of me, and I have my hand in his, and he is working one finger at a time until at one point he grabs the ring finger on my right. Ooh. Are we okay, model? He grabs the ring finger on my right hand and he twists it just so, and there is a sudden pop. And he doesn't think much of it. He keeps going, but he says, "Oh, did you feel that? What was that?" And I, who just had my ring finger dislocated and am in pain, say, yeah, I did feel that. And I gently remove his hand from mine, and I pop the finger back into place, and then I give him the hand back. And there was this other lady who was getting worked on by someone else in the seat next to mine. And the guy working on my nails, he looks at her and he says, "Did you see that? That was scary." Yeah. Yeah, I imagine it was, boss. I tipped him very well after that, because I know he didn't mean to, and I know he felt bad. He was so apologetic the entire rest of the time. Um, but yeah, I've had shoulders come out. I've had kneecaps move out of place. I've had finger dislocations. I once had a toe turn completely backwards. That was pretty painful. Um, and that's just the experience of existing in this body. Is that kind of thing happens, and you try to take care of yourself to limit the amount it happens. But it's gonna happen sometimes, boss. It's just gonna happen. Um, as a kid, I had recurrent ankle sprains. I've sprained both ankles several times at this point, and that is also a consequence of Ehlers-Danlos. And so, with all of this in mind, you can imagine that a day job where I have to be on my feet for 8 hours doing all kinds of physical tasks is maybe not the greatest for me in my current state. The gloves are coming off. My hands always get so sweaty in these things. And so I can still be quite physically active. I enjoy going on runs and that kind of thing, but the days that I go for a run are days that I spend basically the entire rest of the day sitting down. And staying on my feet for an entire shift is just asking a lot, you know? And that's just what it's like. That's just life. Ehlers-Danlos is technically considered a degenerative disability. It gets worse over time because the more things dislocate, the easier it gets. On and on and on. But we live through it, you know? Yeah, basically that's the combo, that's the move, that's what you do. And so I'm super grateful that I now have a job where I don't need to be on my feet doing physical labor the entire day. Because it's exhausting. It's really taxing. And it is entirely thanks to all of you, to my patrons, to my viewers, to everyone here, that I am able to do this. And I've talked about how thankful I am for that before, and I'll talk about it again because it's the truth. I don't need to be wrapped in bubble wrap. I know how to take care of myself. Plus, I'm always of the opinion that you should live with the time that you have. I am someone who is physically capable of running. I'm capable of being active and doing active things. And there's a chance that might not always be the case. My father, for example, who again I inherited this disability from, is incapable of running at this point. If he tries to run, he will hurt himself badly, very quickly. And there might come a day when that is the case for me as well. But until that day comes, I want to continue enjoying the fact that I have a body that mostly works most of the time while I still have one. And so, I take measures to slow things down, and to take care of myself when I need to. Well, welcome back. Yes, hello. I'm still in here, still doing this. See, he typically gets locked out of the room during the normal ASMR recordings because he's a very talkative young man. But but like as much as I try and slow down the rate that my body gets worse, I don't want to be coddled, and I don't want to coddle myself. I still want to go out and do things that maybe aren't always the smartest decisions, but don't. Oh, he's coming up again. Hi, bud. You're blocking the camera. Hi. Oh. Is this the ASMR you all came for? Okay, bud. Okay, we can get some purring ASMR. Don't stick your whole butt on the microphone. For those unaware, his name is Ravioli. And he is a very, very sweet young man. He is he is gonna be turning 4 soon, if I remember correctly. Oh. Hi, bud. You'll notice my model keeps twitching every now and then. And that's caused by his tail passing in front of the camera. Hi, bud. Hi, bud. Don't sit on the keyboard. That is the one place that is off limits. Oh, he wants to be a VTuber now, does he? He does have a little collar with a little bell. Just jingle his little bell. Oh my goodness. Yes, I know. I know I'm not paying as much attention to you as you'd like. Oh, what a lad. Okay, bud. You can sit here. Say it. Many trans girls are cat girls. Many trans girls are puppy girls. But what about the horse girls? You ever think about that? Okay, real talk. I missed my chance to be a horse girl. I missed my chance when I was a kid. I did. Uma Musume has given me my chance. What if I did Uma streams sometime? What if I did that? Oh yay. Yay, a fellow dragon girl. See, the real truth is that a girl can contain multitudes. Oh, he's trying to lean on the microphone and I'm holding him back so he doesn't knock it over. But a girl can contain multitudes, and so, you know, obviously the version of me that you see right now is a fairy dragon, and that's very important to me. I think, real talk, as someone who has had a lot of success with oh buddy, what are you doing? As someone who has had a lot of success with you know, estrogen and progesterone, I gotta say, if there was an HRT that could make me a dragon girl, a fairy dragon girl, I'd be taking that HRT in a heartbeat. I would be taking that today. I would do anything for that, to be clear. I would love to have scales and a tail and horns and wings. In a similar vein, if Uma HRT existed, I would also take that. Maybe not at the same time. Like, if both existed, I would have to make the hardest choice of my life. But oh god. You know, Uma Musume really did do a lot for me personally. So, sorry, he's just lying down now. He's lying down against everything. But I think Uma Musume genuinely did do a lot of good for me in my life. Because I used to be a runner, like, properly. I ran all the time, and I loved doing it. And then a series of things happened in order. First, my disability started getting worse, and I started needing a cane on bad pain days. And then I got COVID, and it turned into long COVID, which really screwed with my lung capacity and overall stamina. And then I had bottom surgery, and again, because of that disability, my bottom surgery was a lot more intense than it should have been. And I actually nearly died of blood loss in the hospital while I was recovering initially from bottom surgery. I needed a blood transfusion. Yup. Don't walk on the keyboard, sir. Don't do it. I'm going to stop you if you try. I mentioned that Ehlers-Danlos can cause issues with wound closure. Bottom surgery was at a time when I had not been formally diagnosed with it, and so it wasn't on my file at that point. And so the surgeons were fully unprepared with just how much I would bleed. And so what that meant is I ended up, you know, bedbound and anemic for longer than it typically would take after bottom surgery. And I think it was very worth it for me, regardless. I'm very happy with my results. It was the right choice for me. It was a scary time, and the fact is that all of these things happening in sequence really, really obliterated my stamina. I used to be able to run a full mile without stopping or walking at all in the middle, and do so comfortably. And then I wasn't able to. Then I was starting from a point of barely able to walk around the block, and it was disheartening. And the fact is, after everything that happened, and especially because my disability is only going to get worse, I'm probably never going to be as strong or as fast or as enduring as I used to be. But after I started playing and watching Uma Musume, it genuinely really did remind me of why I liked running in the first place. And so, what is going on with the audio input right now? Is it just Rav purring so much? But honestly, all this time I spent enjoying Uma, it made me remember why I liked running in the first place, and I started seriously trying again. And I'm never going to be able to do what I used to, but with a lot of time and effort, I can run again. And oh, scritcha. I can manage about a half a mile before I need to start walking at this point. And I have a friend who I go for runs with, and God, it's so nice. Honestly, like, finding something you can do outside that gets you moving is so important. I really do think that. It doesn't have to be something super intense. Honestly, I only go for runs like once or twice a week. Most of the time I'm just out for a walk. And just going out for a walk and listening to music and daydreaming. Or LARPing. God, I loved LARPing back in high school. Or any number of other things that just get you outside and enjoying the world. I think it's really important to find something like that. Don't chew on my headphones, you freak. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I saw him hop down from the desk and I was like, okay, we're done. Good, great. Oh. Oh god. The music turned on. Sorry, when I was panicking trying to stop him, I must have accidentally clicked on that audio source. DJ Ravioli. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. What a lad. What a lad that cat is. So, I did mute for a second so I could have a little water. I don't currently watch much hey, I could do some drinking ASMR. I've done it before. I would have to refill my cup though, because I just emptied it. Which, you know, considering we have about 30 minutes left in our planned stream time, seems a reasonable pace for drinking water. Make sure that you are drinking water as well, my lovelies. Please do, please do, please do. Hydrate. You gotta do it. I'm gonna make a hydrate redeem. I'm gonna do that. I don't currently watch much track and field. I do. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna share a little bit of Uma lore, but part of why the game Uma Musume was created was to get younger people interested in horse racing. It worked on me. It got me to start running, and it also got me kinda invested in Japanese horse racing. I have a group of friends that I talk about it a lot with. And it's really fun. I was super invested in the Prix de l'Arc de Triomphe last year. Although, to be honest, I think at this point the arc is, look, I get it. I do. But as much as like it would be an incredible achievement for a Japanese racehorse to win the arc, so many promising horses end up foregoing like the Japan Cup or the Arima Kinen or both in order to be in France. And they go to France, and then so often they eat shit. And it's, I would love to see them run on turf that's familiar to them and excel in the circumstances that, you know, they're best at. And I just feel like, you know, the Japan Cup and the Arima are also really big races on the global stage, so do those. Don't go to weird muddy turf that you're not familiar with. I don't know. That's just my horse racing opinions. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. But anytime I think about a currently successful horse going to the Arc, it makes me nervous now. It's like, I want to see you succeed. I really, 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 really do. I think you'd be better off going for the Japan Cup. Let's see. Shall I do? Oh well. I'm glad to share. It's okay. It's become kind of a little bit of a fixation of mine, is certain aspects of that. And there are differences when it comes to racing from place to place. Whether it's, the quality of the turf that the horse is running on, to the kind of culture surrounding it and the strategies that work best. For instance, Japan tends to have very, very firm turf that is good for sudden acceleration and just bombing it super hard, which makes certain strategies work really well. But the turf in Europe, in France, is softer and makes it a little bit harder to do those strategies that typically work, and it can also really, really eat up a horse's stamina a lot more than that firm turf. And so, because of that, you're going from a situation that you're very accustomed to one that you're not, and it puts you at this like inherent disadvantage. And strategies that work well on Japanese race courses might not work as well in Europe. So yeah, I don't know. I think we do love Uma Musume. I might do Uma streams at some point. Do your horse girls need more guts? Well, if we're talking about the game, complicated. Guts is useful now. They updated and Guts is useful now. It's just still not as useful as basically any other stat. Alright, we have about 25 more minutes left before I'm calling stream for the day. So how about I do a little bit of mic brushing, shall we? How does that sound to you, my lovelies? I would be interested to see an Uma board game. I think it could be. I mean, I'm thinking about it. Like, the game itself, the gameplay is kind of a management thing, right? Where you're training your horse girl. And a lot of that stuff could be transferred over to a board game in like a pretty straightforward way. You, on your turn, maybe choose the type of training that you do, and it's all building up to races. And when race day comes, you use the resources that you've spent your training days building up to try and achieve the best result you can. And hi, I majored in game design. Gunpla building might return. I still have a couple models that I've been working on. Yeah, so fun fact about me is I got a degree in digital animation and game design. My focus was on the animation side of things, which is, why I was able to do things like rig up this model. I did not draw the art because drawing in 2D is not really my thing. I'm a 3D modeler. That's my specialty. It is a thing. It is a thing you can get a degree in. Technically, the degree itself is called a Bachelor's of Applied Sciences, but that can be a really broad scope of things. And what I studied specifically was digital animation and game design. And at my college, there were kind of two main paths you could take. You could focus more on the programming and game design aspect, or on 3D modeling and 3D animation. Um, and there were some 2D art classes that were involved, but 2D is really not my thing. I'm a sculptor. That's my thing. But I was still able to use a lot of what I learned in those classes, in a lot of ways for this channel. Actually, I took sound design classes as a part of my major, and I use those sound design lessons for the purposes of ASMR. And I used my rigging experience to take this art that I had commissioned and, well, make this. Make it move. But yeah, while my focus was very much on the animation side of things, part of the major was very much focused on kind of learning the whole pipeline for making a game, from designing mechanics to programming to making the art, all that stuff. And I gotta say, as far as the starting game design just in time for the industry to reveal how terrible it was, no, that's... I studied that stuff because I love it, and I still do, but there was also very much like a... there will be jobs in game design, right? Games are huge. Everyone wants to do game design stuff, right? Well, turns out that was back when I was in high school, and by the time I graduated college, it was no longer the case. There are no entry-level positions anymore, not really. And whenever there is one, it gets snapped up in 2 seconds by the hordes of people who are desperately trying to break into the industry. So it's nightmarishly difficult to try and break into game dev at this point. And I still want to make video games. I have ideas for my own indie projects that I want to work on in the future, but that's a ways off. And I'm also thinking, you know, with the way that I currently make my living, I would absolutely love to try and get into voice acting eventually. I still really want to make games and participate in that in some way, and I think that, you know, voice acting could be a fun way to do that. So we're looking into things because I do really want to do that stuff. Well, thank you so much, Willow. I like to think I'd be pretty good at it. Let's see, I'm gonna switch to something else for our last ASMR trigger. This is going to be our last sound for the day before we find someone to raid out to. I'm super happy to have been here with all of you and to have had the chance to do this. It is not spiders, unfortunately. This sound is actually a gift from a friend. It's a nice little beaded bracelet. And I wear it sometimes, and I use it for ASMR other times. It makes some nice clacky sounds. Put a tarantula on the mic. I would love to. I love tarantulas. Unfortunately, my partner is less fond. I'm very much, if we're gonna talk about bug, I'm very much of the opinion that you're allowed to not like an animal. But that, something like I am actively wishing for the downfall of all spiders, that is something I strongly disagree with. I have bugs that I actively dislike. There are certain bugs that make me very, very, very uncomfortable. But even those animals, even something like a tick, they're necessary for the ecosystem and they are, you know, alive. And personally, I'm not a vegetarian or anything like that. I like eating meat, and I don't think it's wrong to do so. But I don't think one should wish death upon a species of animal, whatever it is, even if it's a bug that you really, really don't like, if it's not bothering you. I'm very uncomfortable about cockroaches and centipedes. I love spiders. I really, really, really do. But roaches, centipedes, a lot of parasitic animals as well make me very, very, very uncomfortable. And what I say about them is that they are still all very welcome to keep living their lives. I would just much prefer it if they did it at a distance from me. And so that's... I do have a centipede girl audio, yes. And I'm still scared of centipedes. I made a centipede girl audio, and I'm scared of centipedes, and those things aren't mutually exclusive because, I mean, I would like a centipede girl. I admittedly, I would like a centipede woman. Yes, everything is better when it contains a woman. And again, I still think that all of these different animals do deserve the chance to exist. Just, you know, I would prefer it if some of them did it at a distance. And I think it's okay for other people to enjoy certain things that I don't. And if we're talking about, like, you know, in the context of bugs, I have a very good friend who is obsessed with bugs. She loves bugs. She especially likes parasites. She finds them fascinating and cute. She thinks they're cute. And I can't understand it. It doesn't make sense to me. I don't agree. But she loves them. She loves them. She thinks they're neat. And I think that that's awesome for her, honestly. I'm happy that she does. And it always frustrates me when I hear her talking about, you know, going on to a post that is very positive about a particular bug that she likes, even something just like a wasp, right? She's looking at a wasp and she's thinking, wow, that's so cute. I'm going to show my friends that. But then she sees other people on that same post that's very positive about those little guys talking about how they should kill it with fire, that they should all be gone or whatever, and it's frustrating to her and to me, even though I'm also someone who's not super fond of wasps, just because, like, you know, you don't gotta go onto a post that's being positive about something and go there and express your disgust over it. You don't gotta do that. It's just a little bug. It's just a little bug. Just a little guy living its life, and you can just keep scrolling. You don't have to look at it. No one's holding a gun to your head and forcing you to look at it. Exactly. No, this is this is like the stuff, you know, we should be learning in like preschool. If you don't have something nice to say, don't say anything. I think a lot of people online are more hesitant to use the block button than they should be. If I see someone is posting a bunch of stuff that I don't like and I keep seeing their posts, I'm not gonna start arguing with them over it. That does nothing for no one. I'm just going to block them. They have paws? Sorry, hold on a second. Spiders have paws? They have little paws? True, but it does have a don't recommend channel button. YouTube does have an option to not see someone's channel anymore, and as a creator, when I see someone's comment that seems a little transphobic or whatever, I hide their comments immediately. I read through all the comments on my YouTube channel. Every single comment on every single video. I read through them all. And when I see someone being really shitty, or saying something they shouldn't, being rude, I don't engage. I never, ever, ever engage. If I think there's a genuine misunderstanding, I'll try and clear it up. But the moment it becomes clear that they're not interested in learning, the moment it becomes clear that they're just here to start shit or cause problems, I have my fun little button that says hide user from channel, and I simply hit that. And I think that's the best way to go about it. Guillotine button. I used to have tarantulas back in the day. They were my little buds, my little guys. This was back when I lived with my father, actually. He had a history of taking in a variety of different animals. He had a lot of experience taking care of a variety of animals, and he had an arrangement set up with a lot of the local animal shelters and that sort of thing. Because keeping exotic pets is generally an ethically questionable thing to do, just because they're not domesticated, and they don't typically live the healthiest, most fulfilling lives in captivity for most exotic pets, right? They shouldn't be pets. But sometimes these things happen, and the fact is, once a pet has been taken and brought all the way to Michigan, it's not exactly feasible to take it back to where it came from. And so my family, for a long time, we had an arrangement with various animal shelters in the area where if they had a really weird animal brought in as someone's former pet that they didn't know how to take care of and they didn't know what to do with and they knew wouldn't get adopted by someone who knew how to take care of it, they would reach out and they'd be like, hey, do you think you can take care of a possum? And that's how we had a pet possum for a while. His name was Brown Jenkins, and he was very, very sweet. He was a little dude. I loved him. It's how we ended up with a huge variety of snakes, including, actually, an albino Burmese python for a while. Can talk more about that lovely friend at another time, but his name was Zool, but we mostly referred to him as Big Yellow. Burmese pythons are one of the largest varieties of snakes in the world. Males typically reach around 18 feet long, females around 21, and they are very, very heavy snakes. They're not as long as some of them, but they're very heavy, very chunky snakes. And Burmese pythons are unfortunately popular as pets. And I say unfortunate because even more so than other snakes, a Burmese python needs so much space. They need so much space. And they need good food and a really solid setup, and people just don't give them that. So many people will get a Burmese python and keep it in a small tank that it can't even fully stretch out in. And Zool was one of those. He was purchased by someone who kept him in a very small tank and who engaged in a really, really despicable practice known as power feeding, where you feed a snake more than it needs to cause it to grow bigger faster. But typically that severely hampers the snake's overall lifespan and actually prevents it from reaching its full length. And so we were reached out to by a shelter who had come upon this Burmese python. And what did we do? My father bought a bunch of lumber and built a custom tank that was half of our living room. We converted half of our living room into a tank for this snake. And we gave him a bunch of places to hide and things to climb on and climb under. And we did everything we could to make the time that he had left as comfortable as possible. Yes, a DIY tank. And so we had this big old snake in his big old tank, and he was genuinely the most chill snake I have ever seen. Holding him was so cozy, and he did enjoy being held because, of course, a human body is very warm, and he wants to seek out a nice, cozy, warm place. And so you would let him just flop over your lap, and he would kind of wrap around your shoulders a little bit and get all cozy. He never bit anyone. He was just a chill guy. And he wasn't around for very long because, again, power feeding does that to a snake, but it was a genuine honor to get to be one of the people taking care of him and to see over time as the scars on his body from being contorted in this small space for so long to watch those scars fade and to see him become a nice healthy snake. It was very cozy and very loved in the time that he had left. He was a good lad. There are so many wonderful animals in the world, and so many of them are genuinely lovely to have as pets, but so many of them you really shouldn't. That's my little spiel. I'm very happy to have had the chance to have this little talk with you all while I played with some ASMR triggers. I sincerely hope you all enjoyed yourselves. I am going to go ahead and look for someone we can raid out to. We are going to have some more streams in the future. This Wednesday, we're going to be playing Demon Souls for the first time. I did a poll, so we are going to be playing through the remake. And then on Friday, we're going to be doing an ASMR roleplay stream where I will take prompts from you, the audience, and do a fully improv'd riff based on that concept to tell a little story for you all. How do I raid out? That is the question. I should have checked this beforehand. Let's see. There it is, raid channel. Doesn't look like any of the folks that I'm good friends with are raiding at the moment. So how about we find someone? Anyone have any suggestions actually for anyone they'd love to see get raided? Anyone you want to visit? Is Mindful Mess live? Oh, Mindful Mess is live. Okay. So, Mindful Mess is currently playing Animal Crossing's New Horizons. I am a huge fan of her work, so how about we go say hi? Alright. I am super happy to have gotten the chance to do this with you all. You all have a great day.